taxes.
Tired of paying taxes? At least you're honest with me.
I'm not getting in the car.
You're not?
I'm shutting it off.
Here,
I'm getting my phone.
I want you to stay over here. Put your hands behind your back.
Stupid mother.
Okay, we're done with this.
The safe thing to do when you're pulled over by a police officer is to comply. But what happens when you don't do it? Well, this particular traffic stop went erratic in a couple of seconds.
Hello, Deputy Dias, St. County Sheriff's Office. The reason I pulled you over is it looks like your plates are pretty expired.
Yeah.
Are they expired, or you just forget to put the sticker on?
No, they're expired.
Okay, what's going on with that?
I'm tired of paying taxes.
Tired of paying taxes? At least you're honest with me. Okay. So what made you just decide that you were going to stop that day? Because this is what, 2 years?
A year ago.
Okay.
It was due a year ago.
Yeah, and then it would be due again this July, last July. So it's, yeah, I gotcha. What made you decide you were done paying taxes?
Because it's a 2016. It's got over 100,000 miles on it, and it's like almost $400 to get taxes on it.
That's crazy. They really rob you, but...
Yeah, plus it's money that's already been income taxed, you know?
I'm right there with you, but you know, everyone else got to do it. So do you.
I'll pay the ticket.
Pay the ticket, okay. Tell you what, it's hot. I'm going to do this in my car. Can you step out and come to my car, and we're going to get this ticket typed out?
I gotta go to your car.
You get to go in my car.
Yeah, here's the...
There's also another insurance down here. No, that's 2021. You're not able to get back in that car.
I'm not getting in the car.
You're not?
I'm shutting it off.
Here,
I'm getting my phone.
I want you to stay over here. I want you to stay over here.
Don't touch me.
I need you to stay over here.
Even as the Nebraskan police officer tries to get the woman to calm down and act rationally, she continues to resist. The officer reminds her that he's been only respectful to her, but she responds by swearing.
What do you call it?
I've been very respectful towards you. Now
You
put your
liar.
hands behind your back. Put your hands behind your back.
Then let go of me! God!
The Dollar General.
I will put my hands... I can't.
Get on the ground.
You got a hold of my hand!
Put your hands behind your back, like this.
Okay.
Let's do it.
Then let me... God
You're not
damn
getting
it!
up. Get down on the ground.
I'm not getting up and put my hands behind my back!
Put your hands behind your back.
Stupid mother...
Okay, we're done with this.
Put my hands behind my back!
Put your...
It's indeed the perfect remedy for a disaster. While the officer tried to make her comply, she continued to resist. Clearly, she didn't want to put her hands behind her back. The officer was finally at his wit's end.
Give me your hands. You're just making this worse for yourself.
No, you're the one making it worse. You wouldn't let me put my hands behind my back.
Put them behind your back. You got an option right now. We're gonna have a lot more guys here.
Forcing the woman down, he requested her to put her hands behind her back. Then again, she didn't listen. Presenting her like a victim, she continued to squirm and resist. The woman giving deputies trouble here was later identified as 57-year-old Dean Karpowicz. She's eventually placed into a patrol car, and that's where the trouble continues. Finally, off the ground, the officer and the recently called deputy made the convicted woman, Deanne Karpowicz, sit into the patrol car. However, despite the tolerant handling of the officers, she continued to resist. Her intention was clear. She didn't want to follow orders.
I can't even run.
Okay.
Sit in the car where it's cool.
Take a seat.
God,
It's not easy to get in there.
I know it's not. So throw me in.
We don't want to do
You don't
that.
want to do
You already threw me on the ground.
You didn't really give me a choice.
Oh,
You didn't stop when I told you.
You could have let me get my
Okay,
keys
watch your
to my
feet.
phone.
Watch your feet. Got your hair going good?
Okay.
Why don't you get your hair going if you don't have it?
Oh yeah, it's...
The two officers were able to close the door with Dean in the patrol car, which had indeed not been an easy task. It was apparent how she was unwilling to just get into the car, but the officer calmly responded despite being cursed at by the woman. With Dean in the patrol car, the officer explained the situation to the deputy and told him how she resisted when he told her to sit in his car.
I'm not going to let her drive her car down if she's not going to fix the registration. She gets out and starts walking towards the front of her car. I get in front of her. Yeah. Sorry, I'm hot.
Right, I can shut yours off. I just wanted so Michael
is. So anyway, she's walking towards the car. I stop her. I say, hey, you don't have to sit in my car, but you can't go back to your car. And she just tries to push past me. And that's when I say, okay, you're going down. And I took her down to the ground pretty gently. I wasn't. She's an old lady. I didn't want to hurt her. And
nobody wants to hurt anybody. She's a keen, which...
Yeah, and she told me that. But
no offense, she has a track record of not caring for law enforcement or whatever. So,
but I was just going to give her a ticket, but now it's true.
And let's cite her for probably obstructing.
And registration.
And get her on her way out of here. We'll just take her back to her dad's and drop her off there. But
The deputy, understanding the situation, considers dropping Dean somewhere with less heat and asks her if she would want to go to her dad's house. However, the answer he hears is unexpected.
Are you wanting to go to your dad's house?
No. You think I want my dad to see me in handcuffs?
Well, where would you like to go?
Anywhere.
Okay, it's a PR bond, right? Okay.
Well,
Thus, the officer and the deputy decide to take her to the sheriff's office, obviously thinking about how the heat was affecting Dean.
I should It's a misdemeanor. I'll have to take her to the sheriff's office, but like I said, I'm just going to take my time.
bond her from the sheriff's office. You can let her go from there.
Yeah, I'll take my time with it
You can
though.
walk from there.
I don't know if I want her out in the heat.
Unfortunately, as the officer gets into his car, another argument unfolds.
Thank you. I'm hot. I need a drink. I'm going to take her to the sheriff's office.
Okay.
The officer displays a calm demeanor and listens to what Dean has to say before responding in a rational manner. He explains how she wasn't supposed to get out of the patrol car.
What'd you say? You didn't tell me anything. And if you would have asked, I would have done that for you. Did I tell you to get out of here? And you weren't allowed to. You don't run this. I run a traffic stop and it's for my safety. Now, how do I know you're not getting in your car telling me that you're just going to shut it off, but you get in and you take off because you know your car is getting taken away? Hey, it's happened to me. It's happened to me. That's why I can't allow it to happen. When I say you need to be out of this vehicle, you're not allowed in it. What? I don't know you. I don't know you at all. I don't know anyone that I stop. I have to assume the worst, but I treated you like the best. I did. I let you sit in the front seat. Well, no, you did that yourself.
Dean's protesting continues despite the officer's explanation about how he is supposed to stop her from getting into her car. But Dean accuses the officer of misbehaving with her and yelling at her.
Back behind your back, you did not do it.
Because I was holding myself up with one arm and you had my other arm.
Well, even when I let go of your hands, you still didn't put your hands behind your back. You tried to get yourself up, which is not an option.
Yeah, because that was done over with. You
No.
put me on the ground.
Nope. You were not complying the entire time, but hey, you can take me to court and argue it.
Oh, I will.
I treated you with the utmost.
When the officer saw that Dean was going to continue resisting, he suggested her to take him to court as she thought he mishandled her. Actually, as a citizen of the US, every person's rights are secured by the Constitution. Thus, a person can sue a police officer or a police department under 42 US Code 1983. The nice officer doesn't want to take Dean to jail, and he admits it. He asks her if there's anywhere she'd like to be taken. However, the only answer he receives is silence.
Is there somewhere you would like me to drop you off? Is there somewhere I can take you? Otherwise, I don't need to. If you don't want me to, I won't, but I'm offering. Okay.
The officer finally takes Dean to the sheriff's office, and even there, she continues to play the victim and complain.
There you go. It's a lot nice and cold inside. Right up to that door.
1747.
Going in all the way down to the wall. We're going to go to that back room that's dark.
The officer guides her through the officer by giving her the directions they need and intervenes when necessary without doing anything that could further agitate Dean. Inside the locker room, Dean asks the officer to remove her handcuffs and free her hands from behind her back.
Of course I can take them off. Are you going to be decent with me? I don't want to have to tackle you here. I really don't. I want to avoid that. There you go. Can I have you take a seat in this black chair here?
In response, the officer agrees to free her hands, but only if she acts decent and doesn't cause them any trouble. Upon taking a seat, Dean fortunately doesn't cause any further trouble, which could warrant further action from the officer. However, she shivers and rubs her wrists, which gets the attention of the attentive officer.
Doing okay? Just your wrists kind of hurt?
Like you care.
What was that?
You don't care, so why even ask?
I wouldn't ask if I don't care.
Are you in pain anywhere?
Yes, it fucking hurts.
From what?
Him throwing me down on the ground and twisting my arm.
Against the concerns of the two officers, it appeared that Dean still wasn't ready to answer calmly. She begins to swear at how the officer threw her on the ground, which was the reason why she was feeling discomfort in the first place. Again, the officer reminds her that it's a waste of time to discuss what happened as they'd already gone over it multiple times in the car. The second officer asked if he should call an ambulance for her arm, but she merely refused and requested her phone.
You know, I'm not here to discuss what you did or didn't do before that, you know.
I just want my phone and whatever it is you gotta give me so I
Okay.
can go.
Yeah, well, I can
Make
take
sure
care of that.
Do we need to call an ambulance for your arm? No. Are you sure?
Like I need an ambulance.
If you don't, you don't. If you do, you do. It's our job. We're going to do the job however you say you need it.
Give me my phone and my stuff so I can go.
Yeah, once I finish this citation.
The officer ponders and decides that Dean should either pay a bond of $400 or go to jail, and the choice was hers. In such a situation, the answer should have been simple, but it took a rather unique turn here, and it appeared that Dean's brother also had a bit history with the
I guess
police.
I'm trying to find out our next step. All right, if I take you to an ATM, would you be able to pay your own bond?
You guys give my brother a PR bond for freaking drugs.
That's all there is. That's per the judge.
And for freaking be outside naked, hallucinating because he's high on drugs.
I get it.
That's an interesting
We
one.
give him every other month, you know.
We do what we can when we
We
can.
give him a lot of tickets, Dan. You know
Yeah, you guys give him PR bond after PR bond.
because we're forced to.
Yeah.
That's per the judge. That's not our decision. We can't set that.
In an interesting turn of events, Dean reveals that she could pay the bond as she wanted to, but she wasn't really willing to do it. It appeared that the officer was also surprised.
So if I took you to an ATM, would you pay your own bond?
No.
You don't think you'd be able to?
Oh, I can if I want to.
Oh, you just don't want to.
It appeared that the officer was also surprised. When asked about her family's details, Dean refused to give the required details. And when asked if she wanted to go to jail, she affirmed and said she was the bad guy here.
Your husband working right now?
What's that got to do with it?
Well, we gotta make calls to see who can pay your bond if you don't want to do it. We're probably gonna call him and
Don't want
then your
somebody
dad.
to come get you. I mean, that is what it is.
Well, he can come get me.
Or pay for it, I should say.
Why should he have to pay for
If you
it?
got a credit card, we can walk you over and
And when asked if she wanted to go to jail, she affirmed and said she was the bad guy here.
get the cash and PR
If I wanted to, I could, yeah.
But you want to go to jail?
You don't want to?
Why not? I'm such a bad guy, you had to throw me on the ground.
Okay, we're past that.
No, I'm not. I'm
No, I
not.
am.
Maybe you are.
You can take me to court on it,
I'll
but
never be past it.
Dean continued to protest and say the same thing over and over again about how she was thrown to the ground when she only wanted to shut her car off as it was still running and the AC was also turned on. In response, the officer told her that she could just ask him to do it.
you weren't listening to me. I was treating you with a lot of respect.
I told you I was just going to shut my car off because it's over 100 degrees outside. My car was sitting there running with the air conditioner going full bore.
If you would have asked me, I would have done that for you. But you can't just walk around wherever you want during a traffic stop. And I hope this is a lesson to
I
you.
was walking to my car.
When I told you not to?
And I
Yes.
stopped then.
No, you didn't.
And then I told you what I was going to do.
No, and I
Yes,
said you
I
weren't
did.
allowed.
Finally, after a bit of argument from Dean and negotiation from the officer, Dean agreed to pay the bond instead of going to jail. Although the officer still looked wary of Dean, and if she would try anything but luckily, nothing like that happened.
Nothing in here that we need to be concerned about? I'll give you a cigarette once the bond is paid. Just a second.
I'll get it.
I just want to make
There's
sure.
no gun in there, trust me.
With that, Dean was finally released from the custody. This case undoubtedly shows what truly happens when you make one wrong move with a police officer having pulled you over. So the next time you're pulled over, never try doing anything that could be used against you.